The Heisman Trophy winner returns from Arizona and immediately joins us on the program. He joins us courtesy of the Local 519 Plumbers Union. In football and in life, it's about being on the right team. Join the winning team at Local 519 Plumbers Union, a proven path to a strong career. Visit plumbers519.com. So you were there at the Fiesta Bowl last night. You're rooting on your Canes. What was it like before the game, leading up to it? And then what was it like during the game and after?
I would say before it was a little bit of chaos. So I did an appearance outside for the Hall of Fame. Did a little kind of Q&A out at the tailgate for Ole Miss in Miami, and then I told some guy, I was like, all right, give me to the field. I mean, I hadn't been to that stadium since the Statue of Liberty when Oklahoma and Boise State played in a bowl game there. I don't know how many years ago it was, but it was a long time. And so he runs me. I go out on the field, and it's just there was a ton of people on the sidelines from Ole Miss. And I guess the tunnel they directed me through was their kind of locker room in and out and tunnel. So was over there for a little bit, and they're like, hey, do you want to walk over towards your side? I'm like, well, I don't care. Where are we doing the interview? So we moved over in front of the student section for Miami. Knocked that out, and then just kind of said hello. Obviously, all the dignitaries and Hall of Famers and everybody that supports Miami was on the sidelines. And Hawk, I gotta say, listen, in our day when we played in the bowl game, there wasn't a lot of Miami Hurricane fans in the stands. There might have been Miami Hurricane fans, but we were getting drowned out by the SEC opponent. And the whole side behind Miami was Miami fans. I thought we traveled well, but it was great to see. I mean, I got to tell you this story. So the alumni that's on the field, and they're like, we're going to take a picture. So, all right, we all get together, we take a picture. And so Michael and Ray hadn't showed up yet. And so Ray comes, I give him a hug. I give Michael a hug, and they're getting the flag before they're taking it on the field. And, I'm like sitting there, and I kind of look around. I'm like, man, who's this white guy hanging out with Ray? I'm like, who is this dude with a hat? Like, who's his buddy? Like, you know what I mean? I just thought it was like a random friend, like Ray brought to the game. And I'm kind of like sitting there, and there was like some fireworks about to go off and stuff. And I'm like, all right, I got to kind of move. And I turn around, and I look, and I'm like, yeah, who is that? And I look, and I'm like, holy crap, that's Michael Phelps.
I saw he was on the sideline.
And I'm just like, I looked at him, like I was in awe. Like, my daughter's a swimmer, and obviously the Olympics, and just a stud. And I was just like, he had a hat on, like it, and unless you really looked at him, and then everybody's taking pictures of Ray and Phelps, but I was just like, I was dying laughing. So I did.
Was he there with Ray Lewis?
Yeah, Ray and him are boys. Like, he had moved out there. Yeah, Ray and him are tight because that's where he trained. Like, when he was younger, Bowman, his swim coach, was at Maryland Swim Academy. So they've been buddies for years, and Phelps moved out to Arizona with 2 years of competing life left. So he trained out there, and literally Ray called him on the way out there, and they hooked up, came to the game. Hell, I think he'll be on the sideline this week because Phelps said he has to be in Miami next week. So he'll be on the sideline next week. So yeah, it was kind of cool. It was, it's like, I had to share some long-suffering swim dad parent stories with him from sitting through all those meets with my daughter. But no, I thought that was the coolest of the pregame. And then I saw Worldwide Wes, who was close to guys when I was playing, and that. So it was good. So like Eric Winston and Greg Olson, who I'd seen in a while because they don't live down here. But yeah, it was some generations of Canes there on the field.
It's crazy. One of my starstruck stories, Gino, has Michael Phelps in it, which is the weirdest thing when you said his name. But he hangs with the brothers, I'll tell you, because mine was weird. I was at a Kanye West concert when he was young in music, On South
tells me a
Beach,
lot.
I look to my left. It's Young Jeezy and Michael Phelps, and everybody in the section might have been sharing a cigar of some type. And I was like, this is pretty damn cool. But it wasn't Jeezy that made me excited. It was seeing Michael Phelps. I'm like, damn, that's Michael damn Phelps.
Then I'm like, hey, Channing, I was like, man, I'm bigger than him. I think I could have swam that fast. You know, I was like, I thought he was big because your Florida guy, like, Lochte is huge. I mean, homeboy's like 6'4", wide shoulders. And I always thought Phelps was, I knew he wasn't that big, but I always thought he was big because, man, when he get up on the blocks, he was dwarfing people. Mm-hmm. But, he was a good dude. We shared some laughs, and that was pregame. And then I stayed down on the field for like the first quarter or so. I did something for the ACC network. And went up in the stands and saw some friends that went to school. I went up there. I had to see some friends that I went to school with. My wife's friends were in the stands, so I had to say hello. I missed the touchdown they scored, Ole Miss's first touchdown. I was like, what the hell happened? I literally went upstairs and I heard a loud cheer.
Oh, the Lacey touchdown?
Yeah. And the stadium still had majority Ole Miss, but, we traveled and I was like, all right, that can't be good. But I didn't think it was a touchdown. By the time I walked up a few flights of stairs to get up the first deck, it was 7-3. And then I made my way up to the Cardinals owner's box and kind of enjoyed the rest of the game.
Because when he goes, I went up to the stands. I went to sit in the stands.
I'll tell you what. So I do the appearance for the Hall of Fame, and they're like, the owner of the Cardinals is going to get you some seats in the box. And I had some friends I went to high school with that lived out there. So I was like, hey, I'll meet you guys, I don't know, second quarter or something up there. I go up there. There's 5 of us in like a 30-person, fully stocked, fully catered box.
Come on.
And they're like, whatever you need. I'm like, you put down an empty water bottle, and it was like taken by the people, as a service. And because I was like, as I was going up there, I was like, man, is this going to be one of those awkward skybox things where there's like 3 people that don't know everybody else in the box and you really are uncomfortable watching the game? I'm like, hell, this is great. Nobody's here. I was like, man, if I had like a lazy boy, I might even catch a nap in here during halftime.
Can you get us that hookup for the 19th?
Well, the owner he's not the owner. I don't know, Stephen
You're
Ross.
more important to the owner here than the owner there.
You got to talk to Channing. He's probably closer to Stephen Ross than I am.
I didn't make too many plays, Gino. You want a damn Heisman.
Oh, yeah. And the amount of text messages I got. So if anybody knows me that's listening right now, just don't text me about tickets. I don't have any. I don't have.
Because they're for us. They're for us.
They were already giving grief to Edgar, and I were on the sidelines talking, and he goes, "Well, I can buy more seats, right?" And the alumni rep goes, "Well, not more than 2." He goes, "Come on, I'm buying. I'll pay for them." No, not more than 2. We got.
It's gonna be the toughest ticket in a minute. We were talking about that, like. This is going to be, to have a national championship game at your home stadium.
Well, it's like the Orange Bowl. There's a significant number of our championships were at home in the Orange Bowl. I think that obviously what's going to make it hot if Indiana wins, then you have the local Heisman Trophy winner coming home, and you're going to have the Columbus contingent. You're going to have the Berlin contingent. You're going to have everybody down here in Miami that wants to go support the kid, even if they're not big football fans. He's a local kid that did good, and I think that's going to drive it up even more. And then I don't know, our exit was pretty good after the game. My private jet crew and ride wanted to stay for the trophy celebration. So I'd never seen a trophy celebration. Can't say that I really, once it clocked hit 0, I'd be poof, I'm out of there.
We may have just lost Gino and his connection.
Got some high-tech engineering degrees because we went the absolute different direction in every car pulling out of the parking lot. But I didn't realize they had already scouted out the area, and it was like a big loop. And we just totally crossed straight Miami, driving across all these different lanes sideways and got to the exited, and then went home, got some sleep, and
You were on a private jet going and coming?
On the PJ.
Going and coming.
On the
Who's
PJ.
the College Football Hall of Fame?
No. It was on Ben, our host. Ben was our host. It was his jet, his family's jet. So no, the Hall of Fame would have flown me out there commercial. But since I already had a private ride, I opted for that one.
I got to get connected with this guy. I mean, Ray
Being
Lewis
you
is
have a
hanging
fan,
out with
Little disappointing on the way out. It was a 288-mile headwind, so it took us. I mean, we didn't land until 12, so we had enough time to throw our bags in the room, and I took a quick shower. I had to get dressed for my appearance. They basically went how they were going to the game. So and we rolled to the tailgate and had some good eating, and yeah. It was a quick
good to be a
run,
Heisman Trophy winner, man.
Successful
good to be
trip.
a Heisman Trophy winner.
Man, I wish I was better.
Who do you think the Canes would match up better with? Does either team, Indiana or Oregon, scare you more than the other? And do you think the Hurricanes could get past either?
I think they can get past anybody. I think there were times in the game where I was like, man, why aren't we just running the rock right at them? I mean, Fletcher was just a beast, and Brown was a beast. Like they were on. Blocking was there. Ole Miss wasn't very big up front on either side, but they obviously have skill guys, and I think we can do that against anybody. I would say we could probably do that more against Oregon because I think Oregon's got more skill fast, and not necessarily the fronts that are the strongest, but Indiana's stout, man. Their O-line's great. Their running attack is that would concern me. And I know you're going to say, well, they got a Heisman Trophy winner quarterback. I know that, but they're built on kind of the similar formation of us. Is they got two good tailbacks and they got a really good offensive line. And it doesn't matter how good your offensive is if they can't get onto the field. So I would think Indiana would probably be the toughest matchup. I think they're still favored for the championship based on whatever these odds makers say or whatever. I learned all about on the private jet ride. I learned all about contracts and some kind of some betting options where you can bet on Miami to win the game, and it's like 30 cents for a buck contract. I don't even know.
Oh yeah, you're talking about the new markets, the way that they're
Kalshi
skirting
or something like that. I can
right?
Robin Hood.
So they're skirting online gambling laws by making them actually markets. So
the one guy on our plane, he bought when we were down 3, he was buying us to win contracts for 30 cents.
Yeah,
so he made a buck at the end
instead of live betting at odds, which isn't legal everywhere. You're buying options. They run sports gambling, and it's not just sports, by the way. There's markets for everything on Kalshi.
I get it.
Government.
I responded to him as he was telling me about his betting in game, and I'm like, do you know you have a problem, or do I need to tell you have a problem? I'm like, dude, we're out here as fans. I was like, okay.
Right. Something's got to pay for that jet fuel.
200-mile headwinds.
Extra gas to get home, right, Jim?
Yeah. Gino, were you surprised how good Carson looked or how good he played? Because it was 100-yard games. It was, they won Texas A&M, they won Ohio State, but it wasn't. You don't look back and say Carson was the guy. Carson really took over some parts of those games, especially in the fourth quarter, that last couple of drives.
Well, I think that, going into that, I'm like, there's no way we can throw for 108 or 138 against Ole Miss, especially if they get in any kind of rhythm on offense. They snapping the ball in under 20 seconds, and, they're going to score. And I thought he would have to play his best game. I thought he did make some great throws. I thought there were some unbelievable catches. I mean, you got to give props to those guys catching the ball. I mean, Malachi made some grabs. I think Brown made a catch out of the backfield. He spun around and man, he got 4 yards and he got lit up at the line of scrimmage. They all made plays. And it was great to see. And that last touchdown run, he was clutch on the last drive. the last touchdown run, you know, I'm sitting there watching him. He goes through his progression because they bracketed Malachi, and he goes to the right. And when he turned back left, I just said touchdown. And my buddy looks at me like frown. I'm like, dude, one guy's on the ground to D-tackle. I go, nobody's over there with the formation. I go, he can walk in from there. I mean, heck, me at 55, I might have been able to score from right there. So, no, but it was good to see. And I think, listen, like I've said, every week he's going to need to play that way or better against Indiana or Oregon, whoever it is. I mean, you know, it gets harder with every game, every playoff game.
He didn't beat Georgia, but he finally got his moment, Gino. You were just talking about Mendoza and the Columbus contingency and that storyline. Is that the best storyline for the college football playoff? I'm not talking about matchup for Miami. I'm talking about storyline. It seems like the Canes have slayed every dragon. Oregon provides Cristobal to kind of get over that hump. And I know he'll downplay it, but what's the better storyline for sports fans? Is it Mendoza back in Miami against Miami? Or is it Mario Cristobal with his new team finally proving he can win the big game going up against his former team?
I would think, and I don't want to dismiss either one of those. I think the most mileage is going to come from Miami, from Mario, and a former Hurricane coming back and bringing them back. And I think that nationally, that's the story. It's not going to be, hey, he's taking on Oregon. Because, I mean, listen, my buddies out there, they were like, hey, where'd Mario come from? I go, well, he was in Oregon before, but I played with him. Like, oh, that's right. So I'm not so sure. You know, it's kind of like the East Coast, West Coast bias. You know, Oregon was or is a great team. But let's be honest, they're in Eugene, Oregon. And, you know, I mean, they don't pay attention to Oregon like they do at University of Texas or Oklahoma football. And I think nationally that's the story is it's going to be for 11 days is Miami going to finish this off and be back. And I love Mario's line where he's like, we're here. We're not back. We're here. But I think that's going to be the storyline. At least I care about. I don't really care who they play. I think Mario and the players and the staff is like, bro, you got 60 minutes now to win a rock and put a national championship ring on your finger, and you don't care at this point. You're like, all right, what's the game plan? Let's start preparing. Guys that got banged up, man, they were hitting hard. They were hitting hard out there, and there were some guys playing through some injuries because you could tell guys definitely had a stinger in his shoulder, and they're just like they're trying to not let the officials see them, and they were playing through it. So whatever you need to do, right, Channing? It's whatever you need to do. You might need to go see the doctor, but you're going to be playing in this one.
You don't miss this game.
Yeah.
Channing went to a Santero, I believe, if I remember the story correctly. The tale of two stories here. On one side, I have Gino Torretta, Heisman Trophy winner. He's flying around in private jets. On the other side, I have Channing Crowder, who's at a Motel 8 in Bradenton, Florida, where his car is parked directly outside his front door, and he once sacked J.P. Lossman. So you gotta watch it, Channing. I don't know if you know this, but those hotels like that you park right outside your door, doesn't matter what city you're in, but law enforcement rolls through there and checks all the license plates. So if you got an expired tag or maybe some extra parking tickets from Gainesville that you didn't pay a long time ago or speeding tickets, you might have Johnny Law out there waiting for you.
People keep asking me what I got. I'm like, what do you mean? What do I have? What are you talking about?
I got a hotel room.
You still
just
got
like
the
you
spinners on your wheels.
What you got? Huh?
Gino Torretta, the Heisman Trophy winner. You can hear him every week with us, courtesy of the local 519 Plumbers Union. With all the changes in how America does business, you can count on one thing: the union-trained plumbers of Local 519. Join a winning team today with Local 519 Plumbers Union, a proven path to a strong career. Visit plumbers519.com. Thank you, Gino. We'll talk to you next week. One more game to go.
Awesome. Anytime, guys.